Very live.
All right, here we go. We are live. We are live.
Oh, Vid Viper.
We are live. What about the Viper?
Oh, there's somebody tagged you. I don't know.
Michael?
Another rollout. Art Flare.
Oh, Art Flare, of course. A good old Art Flare. What a name. Art Flare.
It's kind of like Steve Sleeper, only different.
Yes. It's like a mix between Art Bell and Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
All right, folks. Well, we're here. We're ready to get started with another great show. I think you guys are going to like this one. Hopefully. We're going to talk a little bit about screen capture videos. Now, I have to say, before we get started here, I actually had a debate with myself on this subject because I thought of something that happened a couple of weeks ago that gave me an idea for a show that we could do, and I think it would be kind of fun. And it would be Retro Video Day, where we would talk about some of the old school stuff and like the history of how we got to where we are. And, we a couple of weeks ago, we kind of touched on that almost accidentally, really. If you remember that, Steve, we kind of got off on that tangent of talking about old computers and video systems and things like that. I think that would be fun to jump back into and to actually devote some time to, because I think people seem to enjoy that.
Oh, they did. Oh, good.
So maybe we'll do that for one of these upcoming weeks. We'll get that up and running.
Groovy.
Indeed.
Said the old hippie.
Groovy.
Groovy.
Feeling groovy. Da, 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 da. All right, with that, then I guess we'll get started with the show here, if you're ready, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just checking out my hair.
There's a lot of it to check out. All right, here we go.
Check out. All right.
We are ready. And we're going to go starting the show in 5, 4. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about screen capture videos, why I like them, how you can do them even better, and how you can actually profit from doing these things. So it should be a fun little episode with that. And speaking of fun, today's episode is made possible by our good friends at FreshBooks. Yes, that's right, FreshBooks. You talk about fun? You talk about fun? Accounting can be fun if you use FreshBooks. Seriously, obviously... something like accounting and sending invoices, not usually something we think of when we talk about excitement, except if you get paid. If you get paid, then that can always be exciting. But you're not going to get paid unless you have a system to do so, and that's exactly what FreshBooks is going to be able to do for you. They're going to help you to send off things like invoices. They're going to help you to account for the money that comes in. They're going to help you to send off really cool estimates, and you can get responses from the people you send the estimates to, and proposals, estimates and proposals. They are two slightly different things, but you send them out to your client. Your client goes, yep, I approve of this, and inside your FreshBooks, it shows that they've approved that, and then you can start the work. And you've got it in writing that they approved that particular project that you've set up. So that's all done inside of FreshBooks. And it's really easy to use. It's fun to use if you can consider it fun. I know it's not, it's not surfing, but it's certainly up there. It's FreshBooks, and it is a fresh way to do it. I dropped QuickBooks for this. And, fresh, guaranteed, fresh books. So, want to check it out now? Then head on over to raiselinks.com/freshbooks, and when you do so, you get to try it out completely free. You don't even have to put in a credit card. You just go there, you create an account, you start using it, see if it's great, and then you, of course, purchase it at the end if you like it after 30 days. So you get 30 days for free. Don't even have to put a credit card, so you're not going to be harassed and, have to get a charge on your credit card and then go back and say, oh, I didn't really want this. No, none of that. You just get to try it for free. And then if you like it, then you can put in your payment and decide to keep it. So highly recommend you check it out. raiselinks.com/freshbooks. And with that, we're going to hit the not so fresh version of our theme song. Here it goes.
He's Ray the video guy. Yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the radio show.
About
If you're
video.
listening, you're probably wondering what I'm laughing, Ray. That was a pretty good face, Ray. If you're listening to the audio podcast, I just look like a fool. But anyhow, it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Go VMM is the homepage. And did you get that sound panel glued back up on your ceiling there yet?
I did. A funny story about that, actually. For those of you who don't know, somebody asked me, they said, hey, you should do a walkthrough of your studio. Well, up above my head here, we've got ceiling tiles over here, so they kind of work as, they collect the sound, so we don't have to worry about putting sound paneling there because we got those panels. But over here, there's a hard section of the ceiling, and then it goes down at an angle here. And so I've got acoustic tiling up on there, and there was a couple of pieces that had fallen down, and it was because I'd been using double-sided sticky tape and just putting like a couple little squares on there, and those two, for whatever reason, fell down. So I had replaced one, and then I replaced the other. Well, right as I was doing the walkthrough, because somebody asked me to do a walkthrough of the studio, I came in, and one of them was already on the ground, and so I did my whole video, showed my green screens and my ceiling tiles and cameras and whatever. After I got off the live video, I went over and I looked at the tile that fell down because I'm like, man, I can't believe that fell down. And that's when I noticed that what I did was I put sticky tape across the entire tile 4 times. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody decided not to peel the backing off of that tape. So that's why it did not stick to the ceiling for more than a few seconds, because only a little piece of it had sticky and the rest of it still had the backing on it, so it wasn't working at all. But they are all up there now, and they look like they're doing okay. Actually, looks like it's hanging down a tiny bit on one of them, so I'm going to have to go up there and press that back up. But yeah, it's tough. Sound foam does not like to stick to sticky tape as well as, hard surfaces.
It doesn't like to stay on walls. Over at Radio Talking Book, we've got an announce booth and record studios, and they were starting to fall off. I finally just tacked them up with thumbtacks.
Well, and the thing is, what I really should do is use, like a caulk gun with the, that kind of glue.
Yeah,
but at the same time, if you do that, you kind of ruin whatever surface you're sticking it on, and you may ruin the tiles if you ever have to take them down. And these tiles have been to California. They've been here. They've been in the other office, so they've been around a while. So
wow. Round, get around, they get around.
They get around.
So Carrie doesn't have her office there anymore, huh?
No, she only had it here for a little while. She took it back home. Mostly because one of the reasons she decided to do the office here was she thought it would be easier to do. My daughter is homeschooled, so she thought it would be easier to do it here, but it was more of a pain in the neck, and so she just took it all back home. And so now I got big empty spaces in here that got to figure out. I should have a contest. You decide what I do with the empty spaces in the office. Ooh.
I like the background set in her old office, though. It's like
I know. I can pretend I'm in
scene.
pretend I'm in the Bahamas.
That's right.
So
That's
that
right.
would be fun. But
yeah. So screen capture videos today.
indeed, we're going to talk about screen capture videos, one of my favorite types of videos to do. I do them all the time. Probably, I don't even think I could think of a work day where I didn't do a screen capture video of some sort, because I do them almost every single day in some way, shape, matter, or form. If I'm reviewing a video or reviewing a product, I do screen capture. If I'm doing a training, I do screen capture. If I'm sending a tech support thing to somebody because something's not working, I send a screen capture video. When I'm working with, Justin to teach him how we want to do something, I send him screen capture videos. So every single day, I'm sending screen capture videos because they are one of the most powerful things that you can do. And a lot of people have no idea how to do them, when to do them, and I think it's a great way to make videos, and the cool thing about it is if you don't like being on camera, but you want to be able to make videos, screen capture may be the best way for you to do that. Now, for me, I love being on camera. Even with my looks, I love being on camera. There is not a red light that I do not run towards, or in this case, blue lights. These tally lights on this one are blue, not red, but there is not a camera. I will run you over to get in front of a camera. There is no doubt about that. There's never a red light that I do not run towards.
Nice.
So, but many people don't want to be on camera. They want to be able to create content, but they don't necessarily want to be on camera. So the ways that you do that would be through screen capture videos or maybe PowerPoint videos and things like that, which, by the way, I'm going to show you are basically the exact same thing anyway. So why do you use screen capture and how do you use screen capture? Well, as we mentioned, screen capture videos are great for demonstrating things like software. So if you've got a software product, you can go in and you can actually create screen capture videos for this. In fact, back years ago, and Steve, I don't even know if you know this, but I used to have I have these things that I like to call them micro businesses. So those would be things like Animate Your Logo, which is like kind of a business unto itself, where we make animated logos for businesses. It's not a big sustainable business that's going to make me millions of dollars, but it's a small service-based, has its own website, has its own checkout system and everything else. So it's kind of this little micro business, and we make animated logos, and we charge $200 for them. And we don't do a ton of them. I don't do a ton of advertising. I should do a lot more because we should be doing, these every day, but we're not. We're doing them every once in a while for people. But one of the micro businesses that I had was called Capture My Screen. So I had Animate Your Logo and I had Capture My Screen. And Capture My Screen was literally a screen capture service. So if you had a software, you could hire me and I would go through your software and teach people how to use it. So if you had, and we did that with many pieces of software. We actually sold it mostly through Fiverr. So I wasn't making a lot of money doing it. But it did lead to other services outside of Fiverr afterwards. And then there's been a lot of other services that we've done, with that in other industries. But that was one thing that we had was Capture My Screen, and we had it on Fiverr, and people would hire me, and I would show the viewer how to use whatever piece of software that it happens to be. So the owner would kind of show me how it worked, and I'd go through it and I'd learn it. And sometimes, believe it or not, they would actually do screen capture videos going over the basic idea of it and then have me do a more polished screen capture video that basically did what they did. For instance, if you're familiar with Everlesson, which Everlesson is what we use to deliver most of our products. It's a membership site and a training service and all that. I do most of the training videos in there. So if you get Everlesson, you go inside, you'll find that it's me that's teaching you how to use Everlesson, which is ironic because I go in there all the time and forget how to do half the stuff, but I'm the one who's taught everybody. So I go back and watch my own videos to learn how, oh yeah, that's how I did that. But a lot of the times, Chad, the creator of Everlesson, what he'll do is he or somebody there will actually do, like I said, an actual training video, a screen capture video of the basics of how something works, and then I'll watch that, and then I'll re-record that using more professional equipment and, making it look fancier and doing some video tricks and things just to make it look more professional. But, and a lot of that is, Chad could do his own. He does training videos all the time. He didn't want to have his voice in there as the trainer in all of those either, and that's why he brought me on to do that. But all done with screen capture. We literally capture the screen that's in front of us. So you fire up your software, you hit your recording system, and you record your voice as you use that software. This is this is the same thing that's done in the gaming community. If you've ever watched people play video games, which my son does all the time, that's screen capture video. You're capturing the screen that's going on, and in that case, video games, in my case, software. And how do we do this? Well, we do this with a number of different potential tools. Now, the one that I use is one called Screenflow, and that's a Mac-only program. So if you want to have a really, really good screen capture tool and you're on the Mac, then you want to probably go with Screenflow. It's very easy to use, very robust software, does a lot of cool things, as far as animating your text and showing off your mouse on the screen, making a click sound if you want that. I don't use a lot of that stuff, but it has that all in there. And you can do lots of things like call-ups and whatnot. Very, very cool software. Renders quickly, does a nice job, captures your entire screen. So in my case, I've got a 5K screen. So it's capturing 5K video the entire time, and then we shrink it down. Okay? and put it out as 1080p or what have you. I tried putting it out as 4K, by the way, because 4K being a more normal standard. But what we found is that a lot of people's computers would not play 4K video, so we went back down to 1080p. So there's a lot of issues with the 4K stuff. But you start off with 5K, you shrink it down, put it out as 1080p, and you've got a really, really good video. Now, if you're on the PC, there's a few different options, of course, and on the Mac, there's a few different options as well. Camtasia, probably the most popular on the PC. It's a very, very good program. For me, I've used it because you can get it on the Mac as well, so you can get a Mac or PC version. I've used it on the Mac. My problem with Camtasia, not so much on the Mac because I've used it on the PC much more than I actually used it on the Mac. It's a little buggy, a little crashy, or at least the older versions were. I'd like to crash a little bit. But they have improved that software amazingly over the last couple of years, adding in some really cool animation effects with text, a lot more on the video editing side. So it is a full video editing software. So for those of you that want to screen capture and you want to edit videos, normally, in a lot of cases, you'll get two different softwares, one that does screen capture, one that does your editing. Well, in this case here, if you've got Camtasia, you've kind of got both of those things in there. It's got a good screen capture with a lot of nice little effects. Again, the mouse clicks, the highlighting of different areas and whatnot. But it also has video editing capabilities, so a full timeline editor. Some people buy Camtasia just to use it as an editor. So you get both in one package, which is nice. Again, that's Mac and PC, so you can choose either one. I should mention Screenflow also is a video editing program as well. Personally, for me, I do basic editing on there, and then I do everything finalized in Final Cut Pro. But that would be the same with Camtasia for me as well. So, but that's another great software for either one. There are some free options out there. For instance, Screencast-O-Matic is one that a lot of people use that it doesn't cost anything to do that. There are some other tools out there. There are a lot of smaller shareware. Do we even use shareware anymore? Is that a term anymore?
Oh, that's the term I use.
Okay, so there's a lot of those
Of course, I'm an
shareware
old
style
man
videos too.
I'm
Yeah,
an old
no
guy,
kidding, right?
So, yeah.
For those of you who remember Fred Fish, anyway, the shareware stuff, that allows you to get a piece of software from a developer, pay a little fee if you want to, and get basically a free software that you give money to. They ask for money. Sometimes they'll disable some features and whatnot, but you can do screen capture right from the Screencast-O-Matic, a free one, very nice little program that you can do that. You can also use things, believe it or not, QuickTime. If you're on the Mac and you've got QuickTime, which is built in, you can do screen capture with that and then take it into another editor and edit it down. So there is that option there. You've also got a product called Loom, which is out there. It's a free product. It'll allow you to do screen capture videos. It's then going to put the video online for you. So what's great with Loom is you've got the ability to, if you remember, what was the name of the software a few years ago? It was by the same guys who made Jing. A couple years ago, there was a software called Jing. So Loom is very, very similar to that. It runs right in your web browser. And for instance, if you're working on a software and you've got a problem, you can quickly fire up Loom, do a screen capture of the problem, and it's going to automatically put that file online. You just grab a link and you can send a link to somebody. So for instance, with Lead Kahuna and Rep Videos and Rep Kahuna and all those softwares, they actually, if you put in a support ticket, they ask you to record a Loom video to show them because it's very quick and easy to do. So Loom is another one that's out there. Not a bad little software. It does a pretty good job. It's not going to be full featured. It's not going to have a video editor in it or anything like that, but you can record your screen and you'll have a file that you can then bring into something else if you want to. But that's going to help you to get that done. So those are some of my favorite ones. There are others out there. There's probably a million of them. There's another one on the Mac that was actually, I don't even know if they make it anymore. I can't even remember the name. I used it years ago, but it was just one of those that you would find on, one of those software sites that are out there that give you all the different shareware type titles, the smaller marketplaces. So I found that out there. So there's a lot of them out there. The program Create, which is by Josh Rada, that one has a screen capture tool built right into it, so you can do that in there. And I believe Shotcut also has a kind of basic, but they've got a screen capture tool in there as well. So if you're looking for a free video editor and capture tool, Shotcut is another great option out there. You can get that at shotcut.org, totally free. And so that's just a few of the options for creating these types of videos. And as I said, these are great for recording your screen, for doing software, troubleshooting, sending lessons to people. And Steve, you had something you wanted to put in there?
John's got a question on Facebook. Is there an easy method of getting YouTube videos captured to integrate into your video maker?
Okay, so he's talking about taking a video, bringing it down, getting a video that's on YouTube and putting it into a video editor. There is, and when it comes to screen capture, that's one way that you can do some of that stuff. So I've used that often. For instance, let's say there's a product coming out and I don't have access to the video that they're using. I'll actually screen capture the video to make my own version of it. And usually that's if they're using a proprietary thing. On YouTube, you could do that. However, there's much, much better ways to do that, to grab those videos off of YouTube. One caveat, make sure you're doing the right thing here, because there's a lot of, just because something's on YouTube does not mean you have the right to download it and use it in something else. So make sure you look for Creative Commons or get permission, etc. But what you can do with that is you can get a program. The one that I use is called 4K Downloader. Very ingenious name. And what that one does is you get that program and you just put in a YouTube video and it's going to give you options for download. Do you want to download the 4K version, the 1080p, the 720, the 540, whatever. And you can download whatever version you want. That's going to be a lot quicker and easier, especially if you think about it. If you got like a 5-minute video and you do a screen capture, you got to sit there and wait 5 minutes. If you use a software downloader, it's going to download in 10 seconds. So you'll be able to get to work a lot quicker. So I would recommend using one of those types of tools. And there's quite a few of them out there. There's even some online tools. Boy, I wish I could remember. U2. I can't remember. There's a bunch of them out there. Look them up. You go in there, you put in your YouTube video, and it will download the YouTube video for you. So if you search download YouTube video, you'll find a million options for that. I think the 4K one is really good. That's Mac or PC, so anybody can grab that. And that's a lot better than the screen capture. Is the quality better than the screen capture? It can be about the same, really. When you do a screen capture of a video, you're not going to lose anything off of that most of the time. There are some options inside those softwares to do better or worse videos to save space, but for the most part, you're going to get the same quality. But I would use one of the downloaders.
And then, Firefox, for what it's worth, has got a bunch of extensions. You just Google download a YouTube video and you can get a Firefox extension. Chrome doesn't have them for obvious reasons, but
I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of them on Chrome, actually.
Oh, is there? Okay, there weren't the last time I
so.
checked, but it's been a couple of years since I checked last, so I stand corrected.
So Firefox still exists, huh?
You've heard of them?
Like a decade ago, I heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Netscape.
No, I believe that there are some on the Google store for Chrome, the Chrome store, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought there was a bunch of them.
Well, I haven't checked in a couple of years, so I don't know either.
Yeah, but I like I said, 4K downloader, that to me is a much easier way to do that. Yeah. All right, so obviously doing videos about software, trainings, things like that are a big part of that. But the other side of this is your screen capture tools are also great for presentations. So for instance, if you create a PowerPoint presentation, maybe you're going to use it in a webinar, but you want to do a more refined version, because webinars can kind of, go all over the place when people start asking questions and whatnot and taking it in a different direction. But if you've got a presentation that you've put together, screen capture is a great way to be able to get that video put together with your voice talking and your PowerPoint or Keynote presentation. Now, obviously, PowerPoint and Keynote, you can take a presentation and you can export it out as a video, but you don't have any control at that point. What you want to be able to do is a screen capture. So what you would do is you would fire up your either PowerPoint or Keynote, get it up in there, get onto that front page, hit your recorder. In my case, I hit Command-Shift-2, and that's going to start a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's going to record my screen. Now, my screen is the PowerPoint presentation. So now I just talk into my microphone and say, hey, this is the presentation on XYZ, and today we're going to cover A, B, C, D, and E. So let's get started. Click to the next, and transitions to the first thing. So the first thing we're going to talk about is A, and A is blah, 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 blah. And you just go through your presentation that way. And if you make any mistakes, you can edit it out afterwards because it's a video. So you just go through and, record your entire presentation, and you'll have a really nice video in the end that you can go in. You can edit out little pieces where you make mistakes so that it sounds all perfect, and then you can use that in a variety of ways. You could put that on YouTube. You could send that to people if they needed a direct copy. You could take that and you could put it into a webinar system, like an auto webinar system, and run it as if it's a webinar. So there's a lot of great things you can do that, all done with screen capture videos. Now, again, same programs. You don't need any special extra programs to do this. Your Camtasias, your Screenflows, all of those, Screencast-O-Matic, they're going to do that for you so that you can get a really good recording on that. Now, there's a couple of other weird options that I know some people do with screen capture. Now, obviously, very popular right now is Zoom, where people go in and they do interviews on Zoom, and Zoom will do a recording for you. However, what I've found is a lot of times if you do your own screen capture video, you get a little bit more out of that. So for instance, when I do, if I have to do a Zoom meeting or even a Skype meeting, what I'll do is I will actually record using my screen capture tool. I'll capture me on my camera. So my webcam will capture me in the actual screen recording. So now obviously in Zoom or in Skype, my camera is there as well, but I'm recording directly from my camera, and then I'm recording directly the person that I'm interviewing. And I just make sure that either Zoom or Skype stays on that person, so it's not going to, switch from one to the other. And what the screen recording tool will do is it'll record from your camera, and it'll record your screen that has Zoom on it with that person's face full screen. And then afterwards, you have two separate tracks, one for you, one for the person you're interviewing, and you can put it together. And that's what we do. So like if you see what Steve and I are doing here, we're each in one of these, news style windows. I just do that with those recordings. So window 1 has me and in the recorded form. Window 2 has them as the recorded form. And then I just have them both in one in each window. And then I can switch them back and forth as if it's live and get a nice video in the end. Or I can bring them into Final Cut Pro, put them in 2 different tracks, cut between them, and do some fancy things there with it as well. So that's just another option. And people don't think about that very often, but that's a big way that you can get a great interview, get some great quality video, and really do something with it. Obviously, if you use Skype or if you use Zoom in the normal way and just record, you're going to get whatever they show. And it could be side by side. It could be, switching back and forth. And it's going to be good, but you can do much better if you do it that way. Keep the guest full screen, shoot with your camera as well. And Camtasia and Screenflow, and I'm assuming the other ones too, will allow you to do that. Doing it that way just gives you a little bit more options with what you can do, and it actually gives you a backup. So I had to do an interview the other day where we had to do it using Zoom, and I did do a Screenflow recording of that, and I'm glad I did because there was an issue in the Zoom itself with some of the audio. I think it was my audio wasn't sounding right. It was like muffled and weird, but the screen recording was fine, and so I was able to use both and put it together and really create a nice video out of that. So highly recommend that if you're going to do interviews, that's one way that you do that. Use your Screenflow or use your Camtasia or whatever software to grab both ends of those so you can get a really, really nice video out of that. So just another way to do that. Now, when it comes to screen recordings, once you make your recording, that's your opportunity to take that and put that into your video editing system. If you're in Camtasia or if you're in Screenflow, you can do it right there. If you want a more robust video editing system, bring it into Premiere or bring it into Final Cut Pro. Now you can take that You can turn that into whatever you need. You can add logo animations. You can add information. You can add a call to action at the end. You can put lower thirds on the bottom of the screen. Whatever it is you need to do to really make that a beautiful video, you can do that once you have a nice screen recording. But you got to make sure that you do it right. And that goes for if you're doing a demo video of a product. If you've got a new product or a new software, you can now take that and you can bring that into your video editor and add all sorts of cool things to that and make it really nice and just put out a beautiful video. So all of that with screen capture. We love screen capture.
Another use that I found is really great. As you know, I take clients' Google My Business listings and get them into the page 1 3-pack for a much larger geography, sometimes the entire market. And what I do is I have a software called Local Falcon, and I can show them where they're on page 1 for as big a geography as I want to go. So Jackson, Mississippi, the whole town. Orange, California, I'm probably just going to do Orange, and I start with a benchmark, so day before I start working for them, I do a map, get a screen capture of it, just a snapshot. And what do I use? It's the TechSmith thing. Snag It. I use Snag It and get a picture of the map. And then when I'm doing the report after 3 months, 6 months, I run the map again. Do a Snag It of it. And then if the geographies are real tight or something and you can't see the names of the towns and stuff, whatever, I'll grab another shot to kind of open it up and show them different views and stuff. And then I plug that into a PowerPoint and I record it as a screen capture.
Nice.
And that's a great way to present mapping software. It used to be a time where if you went into an advertiser, and it's fine locally. It's just ideal with a national clientele. But you'd always take a projector and show them what the mapping software was showing. Well, now with COVID-19, and if you're dealing with a national clientele, screen capture videos are perfect for that.
Yep.
And my client was very, very happy.
Yeah, and actually I do the same thing. In fact, two things that I do on that front. I have a website or a domain that I purchased called YouTube Evaluation. And what I do there is when I'm working with a client and they want to have their YouTube set up and whatnot, and they're thinking about maybe getting it optimized, I'll actually create a YouTube evaluation. So I will go to their YouTube channel, I'll do a screen recording, screen capture, and I'll go through their entire channel and show them the areas that can be improved and what's wrong and why they need to be improved. And that works wonders for getting people to sign up and get that done as a service. So I'll go in there and I'll say, okay, so here we are inside of your YouTube channel here. As you can see up at the top, you don't have a banner yet. You need to have a banner up there to make sure that you get some of the YouTube tools and whatnot. And then I'll show them. Now, here's one that's fully optimized. And you can see they've got the banner here. And in the bottom of the banner, they have links to their website and their Facebook and whatnot. And then I show them, oh, this is a trailer video. And you don't have a trailer video on there, but you can add it. So I'll go through that. And I'll go through the SEO of a video and say, your description is really short. It doesn't have a link, blah, blah, blah. That works really well. And then for reporting, I do the same thing that you do, Steve. I actually will go in and I'll show them what we actually did. Okay, here's your YouTube channel. This is what it was before. This is what we've done to it. You can see we've got a trailer here. We got the graphic here. We got your links here. This is the optimization of the videos. You can see we've put your GMB listing in there and blah, blah, blah. So we'll do all of that to show them that we've done not only a lot of stuff, but show them the difference. And then we'll go in, of course, and go. And by the way, if you search this here, you can see, oh, look, there's your videos. They show up there because, now they're optimized properly, and before they weren't there at all. So that's a big help. And we do that with a lot of things. So I'll do that with social media stuff. I'll do that with reputation stuff. We'll go through GMB stuff. So if I'm working with somebody, I'll show them where they are. You're 35th in, Google My Business or whatever. And later on, we'll be like, look, now you're in the 3-pack. So it's just a really good use for that as well, is these kind of reporting and evaluation type things. And I know some people that do it with websites. They'll go through and do an evaluation of a website and show them how that works. But like I said, screen capture video for me is one of the biggest things that we have. We use it nonstop. I mean, every single day. I know today I've already recorded one. I've already recorded one today for Justin, and I'm going to be recording another one in a little while after we're done here to show him something else that we're working on right now. So,
and Justin is
my assistant. Yes. He's
and
my
I did
assistant.
it. I did it for my admin too. Anytime I need to show her something to do, she does. She takes care of a lot of tasks for me. It's just an easy way to show them what to do. Think about having to do Snaggets and type it all up and things like that.
Yeah,
it's still not as good and understandable as a screen capture video.
Yeah. And if I hire somebody for a certain project for off of Upwork or something like that, I'll record a video showing them how
Same thing.
I want it done, or what we need done, or why there's a problem, and it just makes life a lot easier. It's a lot quicker. It really is. People sometimes think, "Oh, video, that's a lot of work." No, it's a lot more work to type it all up. And then have people understand it. So it's much quicker to do this. And like I said, for a lot of people that don't like to be on camera, it's a perfect way to be able to do it without having to be on camera. So you can do a really nice little job there. So that is screen capture.
You're set up to be on camera with a flip of a couple of switches, and you can make a decent video. A lot of people don't have the kind of setup that you have, so screen capture is
no. But here's the thing, and that's something we should get into. You don't need much of a setup. If you got, when I'm at home, I do them all the time too. I just have my laptop and I've got my Movo UM700 microphone, and I just sit it there and just record a quick video. So we do it from there all the time.
You use your phone and the laptop?
No, just screen capture, just the laptop.
Oh,
it's just
so you're
screen
talking
capture,
screen captures. Okay,
Yep.
I get it. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
And then the other thing about this that should be mentioned is, and I'm not sure with Camtasia. I would be willing to bet they probably have this feature. I don't use Camtasia enough to know, but in Screenflow, at least, the other thing that you can do is you can record your phone at the same time. And so that way, if you need to show an app on your phone, you can do a recording of your app, and that's very, very useful. With Screenflow, and again, I'm sure, I can't say for sure that Camtasia is, but I would be willing to guess Camtasia probably does the same thing.
I think I read they do. My version is 10 years old, so I can't speak from experience, but they sent me something saying, "Hey, here's what you can get," and I think that was on the list.
Yeah, so oftentimes if I'm doing some sort of app and I'm using Screenflow, I will, when I record with Screenflow, I'll be recording my screen, 5K screen, be recording my my phone at the same time, possibly recording me on the camera, and then recording my audio. So I've got 4 tracks that come out of that once I'm done that I can put together into whatever it is that I have for the final thing. And we've done that quite a bit when we've talked with apps is, we do all of that, and then we take the app and the phone and we just move it off to the side over here, put me on this side and whatever, and do some really cool stuff. Now, of course, what we're using right now is a product called Mimo Live, which can work as a screen capture tool as well, as can OBS. OBS can be used to do screen capture. Kind of primitive, but you can do it. And so we do that here on this, where I can record my phone and I can do recording of a website or a software or whatever, just like a screen capture tool, but I can do it live. So that's the other side of the coin here is if you use some of these live tools, you can do live screen capture type stuff and then show people how to do things live, and then you have a recording afterwards. So
Sure.
Lots of great options out there, especially nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good stuff, Ray. Another fine
episode into the Hall of Fame, podcasting Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Heading over to the Video Marketing Madness wing of the Podcasting Hall of Fame.
We started doing this show June of 2013. 7 years ago, about now. Yeah.
Dang.
About now.
I remember how it started. Some guy named Steve called me. I was actually in a hotel room for some reason. I think I was with my family, so we were on vacation somewhere. and this guy named Steve called, and here's what he said to me. He said, I got a copy of GoToWebinar I never used. Do you think we could do something with that?
Yeah.
That's how it began.
Yeah.
Right from that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it took off from there. I had no clue how to do any kind of podcasting when we started.
Well, it really wasn't podcasting. We were just doing live webinars.
Live webinars, and then we kind of moved it over to podcasting, and that's where I had no clue. But
hard to believe.
I figured it out. Figured it out as we went, So, and you can see we capture it. We record it as a video on Facebook Live. We put that on YouTube. And then we have an audio that goes to govmm.com, and that feeds out to all the podcatchers, including Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review.
Yes. Do not leave us less than a 5-star review, because I am currently taking Muay Thai, and I will punch you in the neck.
You're taking
Scary.
Muay Thai? I'm taking Mai Tai.
Yeah, Muay Thai, yes.
Mai Tai.
That's probably a better direction.
Well, yeah, except I don't drink. But anyhow.
Me neither, so wouldn't matter. But.
Yeah, but you didn't use up all your drink tokens like me. So.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you're a good boy.
That's right.
Alrighty, Ray.
Try.
Hey,
all right.
Did we have a sponsor today?
Why we sure did. We have our good friends over at FreshBooks. Oh. And for those of you who don't know, FreshBooks, as we said at the top of the show, is a great way and a fun way to do all of your business accounting. Now, I was on QuickBooks. QuickBooks kind of did what I wanted it to do. It had a few things it didn't do that I didn't like, and not the most fun program to use. Well, I kept hearing about FreshBooks. I said, all right, I got to at least give it a try. Now, the reason I was on QuickBooks was my accountant made me get on that and whatnot, but
yeah,
who cares?
Sure.
So I switched to FreshBooks just to try it out. Didn't get rid of QuickBooks right away. Just, started my free account on FreshBooks. And what a difference. Not only is it visually more appealing, easier to use, but it's more than just an accounting tool. It's more like a business operation tool, because obviously both can do invoicing, but what I loved about FreshBooks is built in, you can do recurring income, I don't want to say billing, because that's not, both do recurring billing, but where you can put a credit card in and have it auto pay. So inside of FreshBooks, you had auto pay. Inside of FreshBooks, you could send out estimates. You could send out proposals, and the person on the other side can approve them. And that to me was like, that's way better. Just way, way better. And inside there, much easier to use, much friendlier. The people are very responsive when you have questions. The QuickBooks people were too, to be honest. But FreshBooks, I like it a lot better. It's a lot more enjoyable to use that particular program, at least in my opinion. So you want to find out for yourself? Well, all you have to do is head on over to raiselinks.com/FreshBooks. All one word, and you'll be able to start your free trial. And again, you don't even have to put in a credit card. You just go create an account, test it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, it just goes away. If you love it, well, then you can start to put in your payment information. And it's cheaper than QuickBooks, so that's a big help as well.
Hey, John says, another fine show. I enjoy your podcast when I catch them. You should do a screencast of 101 ways to mess up a podcast.
Oh, all we'd have to do is just pile together our past episodes. We wouldn't have to do a screen capture.
Yeah. Just
be very, very easy.
Episodes together.
Well, thank you, John. We appreciate that. And if you appreciate it... Oh, sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, we could always put together the videos of when you ask me questions and I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, that would be a good one. We could have that.
Yeah. That would, and what do you think of that, Steve? Oh, I think a lot of it, Ray.
You'd have the spin in that. Well, I would give you my opinion on that, but before I do...
Let me ask you, what were you talking about?
Hey, that's why people love us,
Yeah, that's right.
And if you do love us, well, then be sure to join us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, where we will be going over some other great topic, perhaps even a retro episode. I want to do that very soon, a retro episode. Maybe I'll work on that this week, and we'll put a little bit of time and effort into putting that together, because I think that would be fun to talk about, the old style of producing videos and how we got around certain things and whatnot before.
That would be fascinating to me.
Yeah.
People
seem to love it when we got into it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and for some reason, I know a lot about that. Not as much as you, but I know a lot about that stuff and remember it. And that just goes back to I was hanging around TV stations in the 80s and hanging around the college TV studio in the 70s. And for some reason, that stuff just stuck. It's fascinating. Anyhow.
Yeah. One of the places I worked at still had the gigantic 1-inch tape machines.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I got there.
Yeah,
that was in the 90s, the late 90s, and they still had them. They weren't using them. They were just kind of sitting there, but ended up shipping them to
80s.
China. Exported them to China.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. They still had use for them out there.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So there you go.
Well, good. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, again, we appreciate you. And if you get a chance, head on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the show and leave us a nice review. We would love to hear from you. And as I said, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Hit that funky music.
We need to hit the funky music.
Hit the funky music.
Here it goes. Here's that.
He's Ray the video guy. Yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.